1. The seamstress's secret. In the quaint village of Avelin, nestled between rolling hills and lush forests, lived a young seamstress named Elena. With nimble fingers and an eye for detail, she created garments that brought color and life to the otherwise simple attire of the villagers. Her shop, though modest, was always filled with customers who marveled at her talent. Elena had learned the craft from her mother, who had passed away when Elena was just a child. Her mother's old sewing kit, worn but sturdy, was one of her most cherished possessions. It held not only the tools of her trade but also the memories of a loving bond now gone. One evening, as Elena was organizing her workshop, she stumbled upon a dusty, old chest hidden beneath a stack of fabrics. Curious, she opened it to find an ancient tapestry, its intricate designs shimmering with an ethereal glow. She had never seen anything like it. Each thread seemed to pulse with a life of its own, and the patterns depicted scenes that shifted and changed as she watched. As she examined the tapestry, Elena noticed something even more peculiar: her own face, woven into the fabric, alongside images of people she had never met and places she had never been. The tapestry seemed to tell a story, one that intertwined with her own life in ways she couldn't yet understand. The following day, while Elena was lost in thought about the mysterious tapestry, a stranger arrived at her shop. He was an elderly man with a kind face and eyes that sparkled with wisdom. He introduced himself as Arion, a traveler and scholar who had heard of Elena's exceptional skill. "I've come to see your work," he said, "but more importantly, I have a tale to share with you, one that I believe is your destiny to hear." Intrigued and slightly apprehensive, Elena invited him inside. As they sat by the fireplace, Arion began to tell her about the ancient order of the Fates, guardians of the threads that wove the destiny of every living being. He spoke of the tapestry she had found, explaining that it was no ordinary piece of cloth but the very fabric of fate itself. "Elena," Arion said gently, "you have been chosen by the Fates. You possess a gift, the ability to weave and alter the threads of destiny. It is a power that comes with great responsibility and danger." Elena's heart raced as she tried to process the enormity of what she was hearing. She had always felt there was something special about her, a connection to something greater, but she had never imagined anything like this. As Arion continued, he revealed that dark forces sought to control the tapestry and use its power for their own gain. Elena's ability to alter fate made her a target, and she would need to learn to harness and protect her gift to keep herself and those she loved safe. With a mix of fear and determination, Elena accepted her newfound destiny. The life she had known was gone, replaced by a future intertwined with the very threads of fate. As she embarked on this journey, she knew that her every decision could alter the course of history itself. 2. Tangled threads. In the days following Arion's revelation, Elena's life became a whirlwind of discovery and practice. Arion, a patient and wise mentor, began to teach her the ancient and secret art of weaving fate. Under his guidance, Elena learned to see the invisible threads that connected all things, the delicate strands that formed the tapestry of destiny. Each evening, they would sit together in her workshop, the flickering light of the hearth casting dancing shadows on the walls. Arion showed her how to gently touch the threads without breaking them, to coax them into new patterns, and to understand the consequences of each change. Elena's fingers, once so adept at sewing fabric, now danced with new purpose over the tapestry of fate. One night, as a test of her abilities, Arion gave Elena her first true challenge. He presented her with the thread of a young boy from the village who had fallen gravely ill. His destiny, as it stood, was to succumb to the illness. Arion asked Elena to alter his fate, to give him a chance at a future he otherwise wouldn't have. With trembling hands, Elena focused on the boy's thread. She saw the dark, tangled knot that symbolized his illness and gently began to unravel it. Her fingers moved deftly, guided by instinct and the knowledge imparted by Arion. As she worked, she felt a strange warmth emanating from the tapestry, a sign that her alteration was taking hold. The next morning, word spread through the village: the boy had miraculously recovered. Elena's heart swelled with joy and relief, but also with the weight of the responsibility she now bore. She had changed a life, and in doing so, she had altered the course of many others. While the boy's recovery was celebrated, Elena soon began to see the ripple effects of her actions. Small, seemingly unrelated events began to occur throughout the village. A farmer's crop failed, a long-standing friendship ended in bitter argument, and an unexpected storm damaged several homes. Arion explained that every alteration, no matter how well-intentioned, had consequences. Elena, he said, his voice gentle but firm, you must always consider the broader tapestry. Each thread is connected to countless others. A single change can reverberate through the lives of many. Elena realized the true complexity of her gift. It wasn't enough to change fate, she had to understand the intricate web of connections and the potential fallout of her actions. She began to approach her work with even greater caution and respect, knowing that the power to alter destiny was both a blessing and a curse. As she continued her training, Elena became more attuned to the subtle nuances of the threads. She learned to predict potential consequences and to weigh the benefits and risks of each alteration. Her confidence grew, but so did her awareness of the ever-present dangers. One evening, as she practiced alone in her workshop, Elena sensed a disturbance in the tapestry. It was a dark, ominous presence that seemed to pull at the threads, threatening to unravel them. She realized that the forces Arion had warned her about were closer than she had imagined. The dark powers seeking to control the tapestry were aware of her abilities and were moving to stop her. Determined not to let fear control her, Elena steeled herself for the challenges ahead. She knew that she couldn't face this threat alone and would need allies who understood and supported her mission. The tangled threads of fate were becoming ever more complex, and her role within the tapestry was just beginning to unfold. 3. Web of intrigue. Elena's newfound abilities and the awareness of looming dangers left her feeling both empowered and vulnerable. She knew she needed allies who understood the gravity of her mission and could offer their support. Arion, her steadfast mentor, introduced her to a secret network of individuals who also had a deep connection to the threads of fate. Among them were other weavers, guardians, and even some who possessed unique talents that complemented her own. One such ally was Marcus, a former knight turned guardian of the tapestry. His strength and combat skills were unmatched, but what truly set him apart was his unwavering loyalty and sense of justice. Then there was Leora, a mysterious woman with the ability to sense and manipulate emotions. She could calm the most tumultuous hearts or incite courage in the face of fear. Together, they formed a small but formidable team dedicated to protecting the tapestry and maintaining the balance of fate. As Elena grew closer to her new allies, she also became aware of the hidden agendas that permeated their world. Not everyone who claimed to protect the tapestry had pure intentions. There were those who sought to manipulate fate for their own gain, using their powers to amass wealth, influence, and control. One such figure was Lord Darien, a charismatic noble with a silver tongue and a reputation for benevolence. Beneath his polished exterior, however, lay a ruthless ambition. He had discovered Elena's abilities and sought to use her to further his own ends. Darien approached Elena under the guise of friendship, offering her resources and support, but his true motives remained hidden. Elena, though grateful for his help, sensed something amiss. With Arion's guidance, she learned to navigate the intricate web of politics and deception that surrounded her. She became adept at reading between the lines, discerning truth from falsehood, and understanding the motivations of those around her. One evening, as the team gathered in Elena's workshop to discuss their next steps, a messenger arrived with a letter sealed with Darien's crest. The letter contained an invitation to a grand banquet at Darien's estate, ostensibly to celebrate a recent victory against a common enemy. Elena's instincts told her that this was more than a mere social event, it was an opportunity for Darian to further his plans. Despite her reservations, Elena knew she had to attend. It was a chance to gather information and perhaps uncover Darian's true intentions. She prepared carefully, donning a dress that allowed her to conceal small but essential tools, and instructed Marcus and Leora to be ready should she need their help. At the banquet, Darian was the perfect host, charming and attentive. He introduced Elena to influential guests, subtly probing her for information about her abilities and her plans. Throughout the evening, Elena maintained her composure, deflecting his questions with practiced ease. As the night wore on, Darian made his move. He took Elena aside, away from the prying eyes of the other guests, and presented her with a proposition. He offered her a position of power and influence, promising to support her mission in exchange for her loyalty and cooperation. "Think of what we could achieve together," he said, his voice smooth and persuasive. "With your abilities and my resources, we could reshape the world for the better." Elena's mind raced. She knew that accepting Darian's offer would mean compromising her principles and risking the very fabric of fate itself. Yet, refusing him could make her an enemy of one of the most powerful men in the realm. Summoning all her courage, Elena responded with careful diplomacy. "Your offer is generous, Lord Darian, but I must consider the implications for the tapestry and those it affects. I cannot make such a decision lightly." Darian's smile faltered for a moment, a flicker of frustration in his eyes. "Of course, take your time. But remember, the window of opportunity won't remain open forever." Returning to her workshop, Elena felt a renewed sense of urgency. The encounter with Darian had shown her just how high the stakes were. She needed to uncover more about the tapestry's hidden power and the true extent of her abilities. Arion, sensing her resolve, revealed a long-guarded secret, the Loom of Destiny, a mystical artifact that allowed the weaver to see all possible futures and the impact of every thread. The loom was hidden in a sacred temple, protected by powerful enchantments and guarded by an ancient order. Elena knew that finding and mastering the loom was essential to her mission. With Marcus and Leora by her side, she embarked on a perilous journey to the temple. Along the way, they faced numerous challenges, treacherous terrain, cunning traps, and adversaries who sought to stop them at all costs. At the temple, Elena confronted the final guardian, an enigmatic figure who tested her resolve and worthiness. Through trials of wisdom, strength, and heart, Elena proved herself. She gained access to the loom and, with Arion's guidance, began to understand its power. As she gazed into the threads of destiny, Elena saw the countless futures that lay before her. She saw the potential for great good and terrible evil, the delicate balance of fate, and her crucial role within it. Armed with this knowledge, she vowed to protect the tapestry and guide its threads with wisdom and compassion. The journey ahead would be fraught with danger and uncertainty, but Elena was no longer the timid seamstress from Avelin. She was a weaver of fate, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. And with her loyal allies by her side, she was prepared to navigate the complex web of intrigue that surrounded her, ensuring that the threads of destiny remained in balance for all. 4. The Loom of Destiny. Elena stood before the Loom of Destiny, a grand and ancient artifact that seemed to pulse with a life of its own. Its intricate design, made of gold and silver, glowed softly in the dim light of the temple chamber. The threads that emanated from the loom were like veins of the universe, each one representing a life, a choice, a moment in time. With Arion's guidance, Elena began to explore the loom's vast capabilities. She learned to manipulate the threads with greater precision and foresight, seeing not just the immediate consequences of her actions but the ripple effects that extended far into the future. Each thread she touched revealed countless potential outcomes, some beautiful and others filled with darkness. Arion watched her progress with a mixture of pride and concern. He knew that the power of the loom was immense, and that even a well-intentioned change could have unforeseen and devastating effects. He reminded Elena constantly of the importance of wisdom and restraint. While Elena was deeply engrossed in her training, the temple's guardians informed her of a troubling development. Rumors had begun to spread about the loom's existence and its unparalleled power. It became clear that someone within their circle had betrayed them, leaking information to those who would seek to control or destroy the loom. Elena's mind immediately turned to Lord Darien. His ambition and influence made him a prime suspect. However, the possibility of a traitor among her allies could not be ignored. The web of intrigue tightened, and trust became a precious and fragile commodity. Determined to uncover the truth, Elena decided to test the loyalty of her companions. She devised a plan to spread false information about the loom's location and observed who would act on it. The results were both shocking and painful. Marcus, the knight she had come to trust implicitly, was found to be in secret communication with Darien. Confronting him, Elena learned that he had been blackmailed, with Darien threatening his family. Torn between his duty and his loved ones, Marcus had made a desperate choice. Elena faced a difficult decision: to condemn Marcus for his betrayal or to understand the impossible position he had been put in. In an act of compassion, she forgave him but warned him that any further betrayal would not be tolerated. She also made it clear that he needed to find a way to make amends. With the immediate threat of betrayal addressed, Elena turned her focus back to the loom. She knew that to truly protect the tapestry of fate, she needed to uncover all its hidden powers and secrets. One evening, as she studied the loom, she discovered a hidden compartment within its base. Inside, she found an ancient manuscript detailing the history and capabilities of the loom. It spoke of a hidden power, one that could not only alter the threads but also create new ones. This power, however, came with a dire warning: the creation of new threads was a dangerous act that could disrupt the balance of the universe. Elena realized that this hidden power was both a blessing and a curse. It offered the potential to heal the greatest of wounds and to bring unprecedented prosperity, but it also carried the risk of catastrophic consequences. The responsibility weighed heavily on her shoulders, but she knew she had to master this power to be truly prepared for the battles ahead. As Elena's understanding of the loom deepened, so did the threats against her. Lord Darien, now fully aware of the loom's true power, launched a direct assault on the temple. His forces, a mix of mercenaries and dark sorcerers, sought to seize the loom and harness its power for his own ends. Elena, with her allies by her side, prepared for the final confrontation. The temple became a battleground, with clashes of steel and bursts of magical energy filling the air. Marcus, determined to redeem himself, fought valiantly, protecting Elena and the loom with his life. In the midst of the chaos, Darien confronted Elena directly. He tried to persuade her one last time, promising power, wealth, and security in exchange for control of the loom. But Elena, now fully aware of the true nature of her gift and the weight of her responsibilities, refused. A fierce battle ensued between Elena and Darien. The loom's threads responded to Elena's will, wrapping around Darien and his followers, binding them with unbreakable force. With a final surge of power, Elena banished Darien from the temple, ensuring he could never threaten the tapestry of fate again. With the immediate danger gone, Elena turned her attention to the future. She knew that the tapestry of fate would always be vulnerable to those who sought to control it. To protect it, she decided to use the hidden power of the loom to create new threads, ones that would safeguard the balance of the universe. Drawing on all her knowledge and experience, Elena wove new patterns into the tapestry. These threads, imbued with the essence of protection and balance, ensured that the loom could not be easily manipulated. She also created a special thread for herself, one that would grant her the strength and wisdom to guide the tapestry in times of need. With the battle won and the loom secure, Elena emerged from the temple with a renewed sense of purpose. She had faced unimaginable challenges and had grown stronger for it. The village of Avelin welcomed her back as a hero, but she knew her work was far from over. Elena's journey was just beginning. She was no longer just a seamstress, she was a guardian of fate, a weaver of destiny. With her allies by her side and the loom's power at her fingertips, she was ready to face whatever challenges the future held. As she looked out over the horizon, Elena felt a deep sense of peace. The threads of fate were in good hands, and she was determined to ensure that they remained so for generations to come. 5. A tapestry rewoven. Elena stood amidst the ruins of the temple, the air thick with the remnants of magic and the echoes of battle. The loom of destiny, now glowing with a renewed brilliance, lay behind her, safeguarded once more. But the victory had come at a great cost. Her allies, those who had fought so valiantly by her side, were weary and wounded. The final confrontation with Lord Darien and his forces had been more brutal than she had anticipated. With Darien's defeat, the immediate threat to the loom had been quelled. His dark sorcerers and mercenaries, leaderless and broken, fled into the shadows from whence they came. Yet, Elena knew that peace was fleeting, and the loom's power would always attract those who sought to manipulate it for their own ends. Determined to secure a lasting peace, Elena decided to undertake the most audacious act of weaving yet. She would rewrite the fate of the world, creating a new tapestry that would protect against future threats. This task required her to delve deeper into the loom's power than ever before, risking her own essence in the process. Elena gathered her allies, Arion, Marcus, and Leora, each playing a crucial role in the rewriting. Arion provided ancient wisdom, Marcus lent his strength and unwavering loyalty, and Leora infused the threads with hope and resilience. Together, they began the painstaking process of weaving new patterns into the tapestry of destiny. Elena focused on creating threads that would empower future guardians, ensuring they had the strength and knowledge to protect the loom. She wove in safeguards, hidden protections that would activate in times of dire need, and threads of unity to bring people together in the face of adversity. While rewriting fate, Elena also sought to heal the past. She revisited the threads of those who had suffered because of her initial alterations, correcting mistakes and alleviating pain. The farmer whose crop had failed found new prosperity, the friends who had quarreled reconciled, the homes damaged by the storm were rebuilt stronger than before. Each act of healing brought a sense of closure and balance, reinforcing Elena's belief in the loom's potential for good. She saw the interconnectedness of all lives and understood that true power lay not in control but in harmony. With the tapestry rewoven, the world began to change. The alterations Elena and her allies had made started to manifest, bringing about a new era of peace and cooperation. The village of Avelin flourished, becoming a beacon of hope and resilience. People from far and wide came to learn from Elena, seeking guidance and wisdom in their own lives. Elena established a new order of weavers, guardians dedicated to protecting the loom and ensuring the balance of fate. She taught them not just the technical skills of weaving but also the moral and ethical responsibilities that came with such power. The new weavers, inspired by Elena's vision, pledged to use their abilities for the greater good, always mindful of the consequences of their actions. Years passed, and Elena grew older, her hair turning silver, but her spirit remained as vibrant as ever. The world she had helped shape thrived, and the loom of destiny continued to pulse with life, a testament to her dedication and sacrifice. One day, as she sat in her workshop, surrounded by the familiar hum of weaving, she felt a presence behind her. Turning, she saw Arion, his eyes filled with pride and affection. "You have done well, Elena. The tapestry of fate has never been more beautiful." Elena smiled, her heart swelling with gratitude. "It was not just me, Arion. It was all of us. Together, we created something enduring, something that will outlast us all." As she looked at the loom one last time, Elena felt a deep sense of fulfillment. Her journey had been arduous and fraught with peril, but it had also been filled with moments of profound beauty and connection. She had become more than just a weaver of fate, she had become a guardian of hope, a steward of destiny. With her legacy secure, Elena passed the mantle to a new generation, confident that they would continue her work with the same passion and integrity. The tapestry of fate was in good hands, and the world would continue to spin on its axis, guided by the threads of destiny she had so carefully woven. In the end, Elena knew that the true power of the loom lay not in its ability to change fate but in its ability to inspire those who wielded it to strive for a better world. And so, the story of the seamstress who became a guardian of destiny lived on, a shining thread in the ever-evolving tapestry of life.